So my question is, just how much of an imbecile do you need to be in order to ask for realism in fantasy? The whole reason it's called fantasy is because it's not real. I mean, do you really want to see Conan the Barbarian having white splotches on his armor because every time he wakes up, he cracks a nut? You know, men do that. They wake up, they stroke the schnitzel. I'm sorry to say this, but it's true. A lot of men do it. In fact, I don't think I know a single man that does it. Do you want to see that in your fantasy? Because I don't. Do you want to see Xena going out hunting a rabbit and using its fur to put it between her legs because she's got a period and it's ancient Greece and tampons aren't invented? Like, I don't want to see that. Do you want to see Buffy the Vampire Slayer taking a fart and then going like, oopsie, hee hee hee? Like, it happens. I mean, it definitely happens. Do you want to see that in your fiction? I don't think it would add to the fantasy element. I don't think it would make it more enjoyable. At the end of the day, it's a product. You're supposed to make money, not lecture society, right? If you want to teach society, send people at the fucking university, because that's what for. If we keep making cartoons that aren't educating people, then I guess the universities are going to go bankrupt, because no one is going to go there then. They already know everything. They played video games. I don't need to go to gender studies. I played League of fucking Legends. I don't get it, you know, like... The thing that pisses me off the most is the fact that they're lying, right? They don't care about realism in fantasy one bit. If they cared about realism in fantasy, they would be like, how is Melina, a woman that looks skinny, going to fight someone like Jax, like a muscular guy with metal arm? How is she going to fight Raiden? How is she using her size, which are not even combat approved weapons in the history of Japan? No, seriously, like they're mostly used in... fiction. Like, Japanese people didn't use Sai when they went to war. How is she supposed to use size against another character that uses a machine gun? Well, why is Ivy using a metal whip? How is that effective in combat? Why is Sylvanas using a cape? When she flies, what if the cape comes in front of her and covers her eyes? Why is Sylvanas even using arrows? I mean, she can cast magic. What's the point in using arrows? Why do the arrows not run out? I mean, if you really want to talk about realism in fantasy, I can just go and go and go. The whole purpose of fantasy is to look cool. That's literally, there is no other purpose. The only reason Melina is using size is because it looks cool. Okay, Leona, if she falls in water and starts to swim, I wouldn't mind. You know, even though she's got plate mail and whatnot, I don't care. It looks cool. That's literally it. So, clearly they don't care about realism. Right? What they do care is about demoralizing men. We have reached the circle. We have managed to go to the other side of the horseshoe. See, in the 90s, if a guy would like stuff that has to do with comic books or video games, that guy was radioactive to pussy. Like, no woman would want to hang around you. No woman would want to spend time with you. Because they would say, oh, you're playing video games, you're watching cartoons, you're reading comic books. That stuff's for children. When are you going to grow up? When are you going to be a real man? That's literally what women would say back then. And, you know, like, most guys didn't care because we loved our hobby. You know, I keep seeing, like, journalists, oh, online abuse is a thing. Oh, I got real life abuse for that. You know, I had bullies pushing my R2-D2 toy into the toilet. I got bullied a lot when I was a kid. Like, if you're a geek, you would get bullied. But I love the hobbies. I love what I was doing, so I kept doing it, you know? Now I get bullied from the other side, even though I got a fiance, even though I'm marrying in a couple of weeks. I get called an incel online because I like the previous designs and I take a stand in order to defend the way the characters are being made. And I'm thinking, you know, like, I think you have a problem. Oh my god, what an incel. And it's literally the same, right? Like, back then you would be called a virgin, you would be called a child. Now there's other insults. And I think, like, the reason they're doing it is to demoralize young men, because young men enjoy these things in their fantasy. Like, if I were to have a young man, and at the age of 18, like, he would tell me he doesn't like any of these characters, like, it's like, it does nothing for him. Either I would go like, okay, well, it happens that he is gay, or I would be like, my god, like, there might be something wrong with his plumbing. Like, I would have to ask him, like, do you like guys? And he would be like, no, okay, then we need to go to the doctor, see what's wrong. Because something would be wrong, you know, like, if it doesn't trick. But I guess like what the progressives want to do is the reverse of praying the gay away, right? Like people are born, especially young men, right? They're biologically ingrained in order to appreciate feminine beauty. And what they are trying to say is that if you like feminine beauty, there is something wrong with you. In fact, you are hurting women. Like you are hurting society if you like feminine beauty. So what you need to do is to join Progressive Forum and be like the normal people. You need to be normal. Right? Normal people do not like these feminine depictions because they understand that it hurts women. And the reality is that they're absolutely wrong. Okay, like first of all, this type of I guess like uglification and like here what they did is like they gave her cellulitis. All right, like a magical sorceress can't have a spell that would cure cellulitis. And I guess like all young women have cellulitis. There is absolutely no single woman that doesn't have it. If you're a woman that doesn't have cellulitis because you go to the gym and you work out, you're unrealistic. All right, like my fiance is probably unrealistic according to these people. But my point is that while they are saying that they're doing this to protect little girls, right? Because little girls, they would look at Melina and they would say, "Oh, well, we can never have a body like this. Like this is unobtainable. We just can't." And they would feel depressed and they would feel sad. And what they would do is that they would try to buy beauty products in order to make themselves look better, right? And I guess like the feminist is saying, no, you don't have to, right? Like we can change the character designs to make them look more like you. Like we can make them more chunky, more fat, and you're not going to feel depressed anymore. And the reality is that this is not working, okay? Like feminist representation has utterly failed. Because I look at OnlyFans, I look at Twitch, and not only do the women there still use makeup, not only do they dress in order to expose or to hide the cellulitis, or to expose their forms, but they also do cosmetic surgery. They also use filters. Like never in the history of mankind have I seen more fakeness than we see today. And the reason for it is because now you have the technology to create more fakeness, right? Like back in the medieval era, you didn't have cosmetic surgery and you didn't have filters. So their representation completely failed. The only reason they keep doing it is as a grift. Because many of these companies, they still hire experts. Like I know Mortal Kombat does and World of Warcraft as well. They hire these experts that would look at the end product. They look at the character and they will say, yeah, we don't really like it. Like you need to shorten her breasts a little bit more. You need to add more armor. Can we get like a strong jawline, please? Can we get like shorter hair? And that's what they're doing. And those people get paid money in order to do it. You know, they add nothing to the game. They're not doing anything, but they're more like parasites and they're making money. They're leeching money from corporations. It is disgusting, you know, like hiring censors to do what the Christians did to the Roman statues. Like they would chisel leaves on or they would cover the statue up with clothing and whatnot, right? Because they didn't appreciate Greek art. And it's the same thing that we get to see it. Luckily, we only get to see it in the West, right? Like other nations aren't mentally disabled. Like China doesn't do it. South Korea doesn't do it. Japan doesn't do it. Eastern Europe doesn't do it. Like most nations around the world still have common sense and they still appreciate art. Unfortunately, you have the Westerner, the American, the French, the Germans, the Canadians, the British. And this is where the mental illness when it comes to artistic creativity lies. Well, I would say it's more likely in California now with the video game journalists that will give game companies bad grades on Metacritic if they have the audacity to show beautiful women. You know, if they show the beauty of the feminine form, they don't like it. But they don't complain when Twitch does it, right? Notice how, like, this is the reality, okay? If you say that you like the design of Morgan or you like the design of the sorceress, they will call you an incel. But if you point out that Twitch and OnlyFans have very beautiful women and the people who go there are simping, oh no, like simping is something that's considered to be, wow, it is so good. It is so excellent that you're doing. Which is kind of funny, you know, because if I have my hobby where I like these ladies here, I can still get a fiance, you know, I can still get engaged and married, no problem. I just don't talk to my fiance about my hobbies. But if I were to actually simp and go on Twitch and actually give money to women just for being women, I would get a divorce. Like, my fiance would not go on with the wedding. Like, she would say, what the fuck are you doing? What is wrong with you? Right? But these are the standards that we get from the progressive left that has infested gaming culture. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.